Hi, this is Justin with Trade Tech. In this video, we're going to show you how our beam and header assemblies work. So we've got a floor plan here. I'm just going to show you real quick how we can pick up short header material or headers as well as longer beams. So we'll come over here to our takeoff assemblies and our beams folder, and then in the wood subfolder. So the way that we've got our headers and beam assemblies set up is we've got one assembly that's set up for beams or headers that are shorter than 8 foot. And what that assembly is going to do is you can go through and do your takeoff, and then it's going to figure that header material out of whatever length material you set that you want to get your headers out of. So for example, let's say we want to go through and pick up some door headers. So we would use our beam shorter than 8 feet assembly. And then as with all the rest of our assemblies, we're just going to go through the tabs and set up our perimeter. So let's say we want a 2x10 SYP number 2 and we want 2-ply headers. With all of our beam and beam assemblies, you can also set a pitch. So these beam assemblies can be used on roof framing as well. So if you've got any kind of rake or rafter beams or anything, you can use, you can set a pitch and it's going to apply that pitch factor to the material. So obviously these are door headers, so we don't need a pitch set. The beam material length is going to be what length material lumber do we want to order for these headers. So we're going to go with 16 footers. Then we've got a description we can give to it. We'll leave that at headers, and then multiply again. If you're doing a large project, you've got a floor plan that is repeated on multiple floors, you can just set your multiply to however many floors that floor plan represents, and it'll automatically multiply your takeoff quantities. And then you can set your waste factor. And then we also have two different hardware types that you can apply to the beam as well. So let's say we're doing exterior headers and they require a beam strap on either side. You can go ahead and set that. You can choose up to two different types of hardware here. You can select your quantity of that hardware per beam. And then again, as with all of the assemblies and with all of the plugins, you would select your location folder that you want the material to go into. So we're going to select first level walls and click OK. And so let's just say we're going to go through and pick up our double 2x10 headers anywhere that's shorter than 8 feet that we want to pick up out of the 16-foot material. We could go through and take off as many of these as we want. And again, just like with the rest of the assemblies, you can duplicate this assembly and set up as many different types of beams as you want to where your selections will be preset. And just continue to add to your library of, if you've got headers and beams, the same types of headers and beams that you take off, on multiple jobs, then you can do that. Okay, so we've just taken off those headers. So we'll go look at the reports and I'll show you what that looks like. If we go to our materials by location, our first level walls, which is where we assign that material to, you can see here where we've got our header material that we just took off. So basically, of all those headers we took off, 2-ply, we need 2x10 SYP number 2 at 16 foot. We need 4 of them to build all those headers. So that's how the shorter than 8 foot header assembly works. It automatically calculates the material you need out of whatever length you want for it to figure those shorter headers out of. And then for beams longer, 8 feet or longer, then we'll go to that folder, beams longer than 8 feet. And this tool is actually just built out of the beam tool within PlanSwift. So we can click on that. As far as the takeoff and the form, it's pretty much set up the same way. You can select your beam size. And let's say We got an LVL header over the garage. Let's say it's an 1 3/4 by 14 LVL, and let's say it's 3 plies. Again, with the longer than 8-foot header assembly, you can apply a pitch to it as well if you're taking off roof beams. And then with this beam tool assembly, then you can select the length calculation as well. You got a couple different options. You can have it figure the exact length of your takeoff. You can figure to the nearest foot or the nearest 2 feet or even foot. And also with this, you've got 2 different hardware types. So if we've got beam straps on either side of the beam, we can pick those up here. And we're going to assign to the first level walls for the location. So we come over and just take off our header. So that's our longer than 8-foot header takeoff. So if we go look back at our reports and take a look at how that populates under our first level walls, okay, right here is where it picked up our 1 3/4 by 14 LVL at 18 feet, and we selected 3 plies, so it's picking up a quantity of 3 for those headers. So basically, with those 2 header assemblies, the shorter than 8 feet and longer than 8 feet, we can use that for floor beams, header beam, any kind of roof beam, wall beam, really anywhere that you would need to take off beams in the project, you can use this. We've also got hip and valley beam tools that you can use, shorter than 8 foot and longer than 8 foot, for doing roof takeoff, and we'll get into that a little bit more in our roof framing video. And then also we do have a metal beam assembly. If you've got steel beams that you need to pick up, you can pick that up as well.